This is TWiT.
Emily, you were nearby. Did you go to the Amazon Echo event?
Yeah, I did.
I'm a little jealous. They don't stream it.
I know it felt cool. Like when they do that, it justifies me going there in person. So I kind of like that. But yeah, it was a big event and they had tons of execs there. Andy Jassy, the CEO, was there. So I thought that kind of said a lot on how important the event was to the company. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get into it. But yeah, I was there.
We're into it now. This is it.
Okay.
So Panos Panay, who came from Microsoft, was the guy who kept saying how pumped he was about the new Surface devices. Did he use the word pumped at all?
So I didn't know the legend of Panos Panay. And so he walks on stage and he goes, "Remember the first moment that you asked Alexa a question. What a moment." And I was just sitting there by myself and I said in my head, this guy is a wacko. Like,
he's kind of emo.
Who is this guy? And I didn't know he was wearing jewelry. And I mean, I used to work at Amazon. So I was like, this guy is very not like cut from the Amazon cloth. And I was just trying to figure him out. So I wasn't on radar for the whole pumped thing. I was just taking in everything else that comes with this guy.
Good, which means you were paying attention to the important stuff, not our silly little game.
No, it would have been fun. I could have been in the whole pumped joke, but I was a total novice.
But you immediately got Panos's,
and
I shouldn't knock it, passion for the products. I think it was probably a smart move to hire him, since Amazon's lost billions on Echo over the last decade. This is the beginning of the next kind of era of, and I'm trying to avoid saying the A word, Alexa.
Yes.
Because I don't want to trigger anybody's device. But does anybody really have an Alexa in their house anymore?
I do.
We would find out. I swear I don't talk to it.
I do, and it's a complete disaster. It's a disaster. It doesn't work. And I was thinking about that the whole event. And I was just like, the big question is like, can they make Alexa cool again? And I didn't come away from that event feeling like an affirmative, yes, they can. It was just the typical voice demos on stage. But there were some things that were promising. Like, okay, so I'll give them credit. It's interesting that it's going to be able to take actions for you. So instead of just doing, Alexa, set a timer, Alexa, play music, it should be more human-like. And then you can do things like, say, text mom, I'm on my way. Or what else? They give so many examples. They had crazy ones like
you can call an Uber.
Get a mechanic to the house to fix my oven. And you can upload documents to it, like your kid's soccer schedule, and it'll remind you like, hey, Jimmy, you're bringing oranges on Thursday. And so they just want to know everything about you, and then they want to be able to take actions for you, and that's their assistant vision.
Jennifer Patterson too was excited about that. She just reviewed a giant screen that does your family's soccer and lessons schedule and everything in the kitchen. Skylight. Thank you, Doc. You knew about Skylight.
Katie has one. Well, my manager at Ecam, she has one in her house, and I love it, and I kind of want one, but I don't know, like I just want one just because it looks really cool, and it does work. And,
so what I did? I'm an idiot.
Often responsible to pick up my niece or whatever. So
I ordered the 21-inch Amazon Echo. There's a 21-inch screen, which is basically like the Skylight. And because this is one of the new features of Alexa Plus is this, AI generated calendaring thing. By the way, it'll be $19.99 a month, which is a lot, unless you're an Amazon Prime member, and then it's free.
So nobody will pay $19.99 a month for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Prime is like $14 a month.
Exactly. I did the math. So it's $139 a year for Prime, and it's $240 a year if you get it on its own. So
who's going to do that?
It's a little fishy. I think either they'll increase the cost of Prime because it hasn't gone up since 2022, which is a lot's happened since 2022. We got inflation. We're in a whole new world. And then the other thing they could do is they could only add the coolest features to the paid version, like ChatGPT.
Yeah, there might be a difference. Yeah,
there might be a difference, and they were just trying to hype it and not make it so all the press people like me were harping on, the differences between the two. So they're just trying to be positive, but I think that we'll get more information about what's offered and where in probably the next couple of weeks or months.
I could see them offer it through Prime for maybe even a year or two, and then slowly start to separate those things.
Get you hooked.
Kind of like the same way they do it with Prime Video now. So you get Prime Video still as part of Prime.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to watch ads, you have to pay more.
Right.
And so they're starting to give you some stuff. They get you hooked, exactly. And then they offer you an add-on subscription for this and that and Ring and whatnot. So I think they've gotten pretty good. They've gotten pretty good at using Prime to get people into the door. And for this, I think that's actually the most interesting thing about Alexa Plus. It's for the first time a voice assistant, LLM-powered voice assistant, new generation of voice assistant that's available to millions of users out of the gate. And they don't have to go to like a chatbot web interface anymore. They don't have to like install something else. It's just going to be there for them, for a lot of people, and it's going to be free. So a lot more people are going to be exposed to this type of stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem so far with Echo has always been, I know this is going to sound so mean. I know a lot of muggles who have Echo because it was the cheapest entry level like assistant device. But because of that's the baseline clientele, most people only know to check notifications for their package. Like they don't even use it to order stuff like Amazon thought they were going to do. I did in the beginning. I got a couple missed shipments and I was like, oh, you know what? It's easier for me to do it on my phone. Right. Before you
I order all the time. Because like I run out of razor blades and I go, hey, Hayward, order me some razor blades. And then she says, this is what you ordered last time. That shows you 3 or 4. Would you like me to order those again? And I say yes. And it says, what's your, code? I say my code, and then it's done. I think it's a pretty. But Amazon themselves said nobody does this. Amazon says nobody does this. So I'm just
right. And so that part, I think it works. But I think a lot of muggles don't do that. So like I've used it to order things before, and I do, find out when packages are coming. But other than that, I think the primary thing I use Echo for is to do conversions that I can't do in my head. Just because I'm in the kitchen. I
do timers for cooking. We do. Lisa and I both do because it's in the kitchen.
Yeah, so I have the Echo in the kitchen and a Dot in the living room. And we have a big Echo down here that we don't even use anymore because the HomePod sounds better. The HomePod Mini sounds better.
It's not great for music, yeah.
So, I mean, legit, like it literally became notifications and timers. So if they can, with this, seemingly what they demoed seems like some things that you might be able to get not just the muggles in, but other people in. But Yanko's right. Because of this device that you can get into for $19, anybody can get it. It doesn't require a $1,500 phone or $1,000 phone or what is it now? $599. Like it is.
Do you think people want AI in the house?
Well, they're going to have
Some
it.
People.
So that's
going to have it. So there. You may not want it, but you're going to get it.
There.
But that's the thing. Like we all bought these smart speakers at one point. Like I have more Google devices around my house, but the same thing. I use them for timers. I use them for the weather, and that's pretty much it. Maybe you like to play some music. But it's also because they're so bad at any added complexity. And if you just make that a little bit better, and some of the demos that they showed were pretty promising, right? So this whole thing, even like home device control, where they were like, well, play music everywhere, but don't wake up the baby. And then it deducts from that it shouldn't use the speaker in the nursery without you having to explicitly say, oh, play it in this zone and move the music into that room. And that device has this name now. It got so complex with a lot of these things. Like taking away a little bit of that complexity, I think people will really appreciate. And then it doesn't really matter that much to the average consumer, whether it's like the newest generation of AI or something. It's just, it works better.
It's just
and
a
then
tool
people
that
will start
works.
using it.
Yeah, I think it just depends. There's a lot of people who are still feeling burned by the whole like, oh, it's listening to me. And maybe people who are interested in tech are more open to the AI not only, having all these longstanding issues with listening to you and whatever. We'll never know if that's true. But now it's saying, it's accelerating that. It's saying we want to know everything about you. Upload all your documents. Tell us about your whole home. One of the demos even had a camera and it looked around the room and talked about like what was in the room. So I think a lot of people actually don't like that. And maybe another issue for Amazon would be a lot of people don't even know how to use it. So they're going to have to teach people. So there's like different customer segments and they're going to have to figure that out. They're going to be successful in making Amazon Alexa cool again.
I think actually one of sorry, Leo.
Yes,
I think
go ahead.
The main thing that's going to hold it back is that they don't know enough about you. So they showed the demo where they're like, upload your kid's soccer schedule. It sounds good, but it starts with you having to find the document and having to upload it through some web interface, or having to use a special email address. Even like for emails, you have to send it to Alexa at alexa.com. I was told by a Amazon spokesperson. When you compare that to Google's Gemini, they showed very similar things last year when they unveiled it at Google I/O, but it can search all your email because it already has all your email.
That's true.
It can search through all. So instead of summarized as one document or summarized as one email, you can just tell her to summarize all the emails that you recently got from your kids' school, which is a really compelling demo to anybody who has school-age children.
Yeah, we'll see if Google, I mean, I'm sure Google is watching this and saying, all right, we're going to have their event where they're going to put Gemini in Google Home. And so the big question is, which one's going to be better, right?
Yeah. Did Amazon address the privacy thing at all in the event?
No, they put the foot on the gas and they were just like, we're going to
quite the opposite.
All your data, quite the opposite. Yeah.
That is, I've noticed in some of the stories, what they consider a selling point. And it's one of the problems Apple's having right now is they're trying to protect your privacy. And so unlike these other companies, Google and Amazon especially, they're not doubling down on, hey, we know everything about you. Amazon said that, right? They said, hey, think of all the things we know about you. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, and also you can tell us more.
Tell us your soccer schedule. Tell us
everything about your kids and, all your medical information. Tell us what's in your house, what it looks like, who's doing what in what room, what you're buying, where you're going, who you're talking to, who you're emailing. That's what they want to know.
Will people
this is going to sound
accept
crazy.
That? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Doc.
I think so, but this is going to sound crazy. The best way Amazon could get this to pick up? I think we didn't talk about this. I think a lot of people pulled back from the momentum that Echo had when it was going because all the TV channels, movies and stuff were talking about it. It was ending up in all types of, like SNL, and not just to make fun of it, but Alexa became a verb just like Google for a minute, right? It was something that we all talked about. But when all of the stories came out about the mistreatment of workers, I think a lot of people also got soured on Amazon, and they could easily fix it by just be like, listen, okay, we're going to go take better care of the people. And then that would allow more muggles to want to buy into the whole Amazon thing.
I have so many people can we talk about it before we
those are the people who don't have magic, right, Doc?
Yeah. That's my term for like normal people that are not like those of us who came
Emily,
up in tech
tell me you
writing
read Harry Potter.
Of course, multiple times. I'm so jealous you're using muggles in a sentence, and I'm teach me your ways.
We used to call them normies, right?
Yeah, I call them regular regulars.
Yeah,
that's even better. I don't use normies because I'm definitely not normal, and then I might sound like a diss. But I think that it has such an opportunity, and I know so many people that hate the fact that they're relying on Amazon because they're mad at Amazon for some of their other stuff. And I'm like, if any one of these guys would clean that part up, they could just take over. And it just seems crazy.
Think the tech is just bad. I think most people, like Amazon is so mass market. I think most people don't know or care about that stuff. And I just think it's not that good.
Interesting. I think it is. Anybody I use AI like crazy, and I've given up on privacy years ago. So, to me, it's become very clear that you want to give AI more information because it'll be more useful. Here's an example. I just took a picture of all my supplements and asked ChatGPT to analyze it, and it did a great job. But now, of course, somebody somewhere now knows all the supplements I take, and but I didn't care, Yeah. And is that how we're going to be, or are people going to go the other way and go, no, I'm not giving them that information?
Well, I don't know. And I think another thing about this is Amazon's vision actually is the same as every other tech company's vision in terms of these AI assistants. So all of them want to know as much about you as possible. All of them want their tech to be with you throughout the day as your assistant. And so that's the whole agentic AI buzzword that everyone hears. Like that's what it is. Amazon is maybe different because they have the physical device in the home versus a phone or computer-based thing, but this is not unique to Amazon. This is just the direction the industry is going.
Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at twit.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.